everyone, thanks for joining me for G's Top Tapping Tips. We're going to talk about night terrors. We're going to talk about those times when you wake up in the middle of the night and all those fears that have been sitting with you throughout the day or possibly for weeks before suddenly come pouring into your mind and you feel this sense of terror and helplessness. I don't know if you've all been there. I've been there. I especially remember being there when I was about 10 or 11 years old and not knowing how to deal with it, but feeling that sense of fear and trauma and for sometimes no reason you could actually put your finger on. Although you may have a lot of problems, be there relationship problems, financial problems, whatever, and you go to sleep at night and you hope to get through the night, but suddenly 2 o'clock in the morning, you're wide awake and you have activated your flight, fight or freeze response. And suddenly you feel consumed with this sense of fear and foreboding. So what I'm recommending is when this happens in the night, the first thing to do is to take a deep breath. Release it and try and lower your shoulders. Even though you're laying down in bed, just let your shoulders relax. Try to feel a little bit more at peace when you do that. I know it's hard. And my recommendation is that you stay in bed, but you now put your fingers on your sore spot. We've spoken about it before in other videos, and sometimes it's not easy to locate it. Okay, I've got it now. And then without disturbing your partner, you can very gently just rub on the sore spot. And you can say what you would normally say when you're tapping. Even though I've woken up in the middle of the night and I feel this sense of foreboding. I feel terrified. That's why they're called the night terrors. I'm terrified. I've no idea what's going to happen tomorrow. Maybe I have an exam. Maybe I have a difficult conversation at work. It could be anything. It could be a relationship issue. It could be a financial issue. It could be anything. But it's given you this fear. You've activated your flight, fight and freeze response and you feel this sense of terror. But I deeply and completely love and accept myself. Now it's quite difficult in the middle of the night, if you're lying down in your bed and your partner's next to you, to be able to then just start tapping. Invariably, you'll get a grunt and a moan from your partner who'll say, "What's going on? Why are you moving around?" And it is difficult to start tapping on these points. But what I do is I tap in my head. So what I do is I just release my shoulders, a little bit of peace come, and I've activated my sore spot. And in my head, I will repeat the issue that's giving me the most trouble. And now I might find I can't actually face that issue. So sometimes it's easy just to say, this issue, this issue, this issue, or this feeling, or this terror, or I'm so afraid. Whatever it is, it doesn't matter if you repeat it over and over again. You might just want to say this feeling, because all you're trying to do is to focus on the problem. And if that problem is this feeling, then you just tap in your head, inside your head, in your mind, and you can go through the points. As you do, you might feel some release and some relief And when that happens, you can come back to the sore spot and you need to check, well, you don't need, but you can check if there's anything else still sitting there. Sometimes when you do this, you will feel this flood of release and relief. I've had that myself. It moves through your body and you can just think, drain the pain, and just let it flow through your body and out. That's one option. There is a tapping sequence that you can do without disturbing anybody. We call it kind of boardroom tapping, but there's so few meetings these days take place in a boardroom. A lot of them take place online. But you can tap at the same time without everybody seeing you and thinking you're weird. People always think I'm weird. I'm so used to it now. I don't think it even bothers me anymore. But the way to do it is to use the tapping points on your fingers. So you have a tapping point here, a meridian, on this side of your thumb, near the nail. On this finger, in the same place. And on this finger, on the same place. And on the fourth finger. And your heart meridian is actually on your pinky finger. The beauty of this tapping, because you can do it with just one hand. So there you are, you're tapping your thumb. And now you're tapping your finger and your second finger. And then you're tapping that and your pinky, which is your heart meridian. Useful little technique because you can be lying in bed, hands down by your side. You've activated your sore spot. You've put that issue out there. You've done the tapping in your mind, in your head. And then you can just tap on these points without using both hands. You can just tap like this. Now, we call it boardroom tapping because you can do this under the boardroom table. So an issue might arise while you're having a conversation with somebody and you don't want to suddenly go, oh, I'll have to tap on that, and start your tapping. You just put your hands under the table and you can start your tapping so easily like this. It doesn't matter if you start with your little finger or if you start with your thumb. Either way, you're just covering all the points. Just covering all the points. So you do your little tapping decision to make the tapping in your head, whatever it is you want to do, or you can do it with your fingers, or you can do both. Because sometimes when you're doing it in your head or in your mind, it's hard to keep the focus. And also because you're lying down, you might nod off. But if you can do this at the same time, which you can, it should calm down that fear feeling and help you to feel more relaxed. And who knows, but maybe something will give while you're talking and you'll feel that wonderful sense of release and relief. And I hope that it works for you. Please give it a go because it can work so well.